Hi, Susan. I was wondering, what does it mean to be Presbyterian? What is it that sets us apart?
Oh, hi, Nellie. Let's see. We sit in a lot of boring meetings.
Ugh.
Oh, you want the serious answer. Teaching elders and ruling elders with equal voice, the Book of Order and the Book of Confessions, that we're governed by councils.
That's all true, but surely there's something distinctive about what we believe.
Oh, yeah, that too. Well, for some background, I was talking with my neighbor over the fence the other day, and she was saying that she had been raised in a church that had told her she was a bad girl and was going to hell. And then it came around to, aren't you a pastor? What sort? I told her I'm Presbyterian, and that we believe in grace, that we're saved by God's grace, which is a gift.
God's grace surrounds us as God loves us throughout our lives from before we were born until after we die. We find stories of God's grace from Genesis to Revelation in the stories of creation, the words of the prophets, the letters to the churches, and especially in Jesus Christ.
Right. We're surrounded by God's grace, which is revealed by the ongoing work of the Spirit, Jesus' gift to the church. We can't earn God's grace, but then again, grace also doesn't mean that anything goes. In response to God's grace, as part of God's covenant community, we're called to respond with gratitude.
I like that. In gratitude, we give thanks to God with our words, our deeds, in the way we treat others and our world, in serving others as brothers and sisters, and seeing all as our neighbors.
Right. Grace and gratitude, two important aspects of our faith and of our lives. Living and growing in God's grace and our gratitude are the building blocks of our new denominational curriculum that will be available for use next fall. It's called Growing in Grace and Gratitude.
This sounds great, but what about We Believe? It was good curriculum.
It was, for a lot of years, but it's not going to be available anymore.
So then, tell me more about Growing in Grace and Gratitude.
Sure. Each session, children and their leaders will explore a Bible story, one that makes known God's grace, and then we'll explore ways to respond to that grace with gratitude. Activities will include prayer and singing, art and drama, and more.
Sounds nice. I know when people come into the Resource Center looking for curriculum, they want to know what the pieces are for that curriculum. Well, what about Growing in Grace and Gratitude? What would they have to buy?
Well, at bottom line, two pieces. They would need to buy the Leader's Guide, and they'd need to buy the music CD. Let me tell you a little bit more about that Leader's Guide. They're available for ages 3 to 5, 5 to 7, 8 to 10. And there's also a multi-age piece to be used with ages 5 to 10. Each week, the Leader's Guide starts with biblical and theological background material to help the leader explore the text for the week. And then something that I think will be helpful for leaders is it gives a piece on adapting the material and being sensitive to children who have special needs or disabilities. These Leader's Guides are available in a printed format or in a downloadable format. And then included with each Leader's Guide is what they're calling Stories, Colors, and More. It has pictures of the Bible story. It has teaching pictures and maps, song sheets, and other resources. There's also Grace Sightings, a resource that can either be handed out or emailed home. It has the story for each week and activities for the children to do at home throughout the week as a reminder that the life of faith is about more than Sunday morning or whenever we gather at church.
Sounds great, Susan. What else?
Then there'll be an e-book for iBooks and Kindles that families can also use at home to continue to share that story.
Sounds nice. How are the lessons structured?
Each lesson begins with background information for the teacher, and then the lesson plan itself has 3 parts. First, there's Gathering in God's Grace, which is a time for leaders to welcome the children, for everybody to join in a time of singing and praying and hearing the Bible story. Then it moves to the second part, Responding in Gratitude. In this section, there are age-appropriate activities through which children are encouraged to thank God. And finally, it ends with loving and serving God, which encourages children to find ways to live out their call to be disciples throughout the week.
What makes this curriculum different? Why would you recommend it?
I like that it begins with the stories of our faith and connects them with our lives. Also, I like that it seeks to help leaders be aware of and intentional about ways to include children of all different abilities, that they can experience God's grace and give thanks for it. I also like that it's very intentional about connecting Sunday school or other formal learning times with family time throughout the week through the Grace Sightings piece and the ebook. It doesn't just assume that 45 minutes to an hour in Sunday school is enough to develop disciples. It offers different formats, too. Churches can either buy the printed copy or they can download it and share multiple copies with teachers. I also like that it's based on Bible stories of our faith, helping children see those stories as stories of God's grace.
This all sounds great. How can people get more information if they are interested in looking at it or using it beginning this fall?
Well, there's several copies of the sampler and the catalogs available on your Resource Center display today. People can pick one of these up and take it with them. They can find a lot of information at the website presbyterianmission.org. They Google Growing in Grace and Gratitude. There they can find the 3-year scope and sequence, a description of the curriculum, samples of the music, age level samples, and a catalog. They'll also find their information where they can order their own copy of the sampler with a lesson for each age level included.
And we need to be sure, Susan, to let folks know that they can call either of us for more information or to come and talk with them. And Robin Ray, too, pastor of Bridgeport Presbyterian Church. She's also available. She's a denominational curriculum representative.
That's right, Nellie. We want to be sure and get the word out about growing in grace and gratitude so people know what's coming next fall as they look towards selecting their curriculum.